tokens. That is both of my dogs. You will carry that with you for the entirety of the race. The whole point of that is you need to return the souls of my dogs throughout your adventure. If not, if you return and don't have that token with my dog's souls on it, then we just do an even swap and we keep your soul.
Makes sense.
And I just want to take a moment. Everyone who has helped with this race is fantastic. Almost. Yeah.
Beautiful Watson Lake. Start line of the inaugural Hells Dells 50K. Getting ready to start.
Everyone has their phone out right away. Can we go?
3 a.m.
I'm gonna make some battery back up to charge the phone.
Again, nothing's that big of a deal. And contact me if you need to for any reason at all. Is everybody ready? Because if so, alright. Let's go!
Here we go.
That's it. Enjoy yourself.
Like we're doing something.
It's like the photographer. You like
Exactly. Run for the photo. All right, Hells Dells, mile 2. We just hopped into the actual Granite Dells where we'll be for much of this race. Right now we're going kind of around Watson Lake. Running here with my friend David Adams.
How you doing?
David Adams ran Cocodona 2022, had a strong finish. I ran with him a little bit in 2023. I believe you tapped out at Whiskey Row, is that right?
Yep, pull the plug.
Yeah, but he's gonna be back at it next year, it sounds like.
Yep, next year I'll be running it, and this year's Mingus Traverse.
Mingus Traverse, 78 miler, new distance, but he just moved here to Prescott from San Diego. So these are now his home trails.
Yep, 24 days ago.
So
thanks, Jamil.
Jamil, you know, Aravaipa just has a way of pulling you in, you know, in more ways than one. But we're out here getting it done. We're kind of on a nice single track still, but a lot of these trails back here are rocky, scrambly, white dot trails. So we'll be getting into that pretty soon, but for now we're just cruising. Trudging along here, we just kind of topped out. A nice shot of Watson Lake where we started. See Granite Mountain, Thumb Butte. You can see our terrain has shifted into the more rocky white dot stuff. So we were running the first few miles were just over 10 minutes. Last mile I clocked in at 16, so you just go with what the terrain gives you. And that's the name of the game. So that's what we're gonna keep doing. Keep moving forward. Oh yeah. All right, go for it, David. You're on video. David Adams just crushing up this hill. Ugh. Trying to keep up. We're in the thick of it in the Granite Dells. But behind me, I have a nice view of Prescott Valley, Mingus Mountain, San Francisco Peaks. You can see the Sycamore Canyon off to the left, Kendrick Mountain behind that. So views are really beautiful here. He's still going. Good for him. I'll be keeping a healthy distance behind for now. All right, just checking in. We're about 9.5 miles. Still with David Adams, crushing it. We have been on this kind of windy single track trail that I've actually never been on before. You can see the Dells where we popped out at. We were on the Iron King Trail for a little bit, same trail as Cocodona, and then we made a left, and we've kind of been following this windy trail through a lot of these newer developments. But it's cool. I didn't know this was here, so this is new to me. We do have an aid station coming up roughly at mile 10, so we should be about a half mile away from that. And we're moving well, feeling strong. Let's go. We are approaching our first aid station, about 10.5 miles in, so closer to 11 miles rather than 10. But this is just such a pretty area to run through with the Dells back there, Granite Mountain behind those trees. So funny story real quick. I was looking for the shoes I wanted to wear for this race. I got a black pair of Ultra Olympus that I wore for Zion a few weeks ago. I don't think I've worn them since then. Couldn't find them this morning. I was looking all over the house for them. I was looking in my closet, looking throughout the house, couldn't find them. When I'm looking in my closet, I found these. This is a brand new pair of Ultra Olympus. I don't think I've ever worn them before. I don't remember buying them. I don't know where they came from, but apparently I have them, so I'm wearing a fresh pair of Ultras for this race, which is great. With all the rockiness and the scrambliness, they're really grippy still, so I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced that, where you've forgotten that you bought a pair of shoes and then randomly find them however many months later. But here we come into the aid station. All right. Hey, Carol. Arizona Monster finisher, Carol Northrup. How's it going, Day?
Good job. What do you need?
So for a free race, this is what we get.
It was free.
Pickles, pretzels, fruit snacks, homemade Rice Krispie treats, Spring Energy, Coke, Mountain Dew, ginger ale, everything we want for the best crew in the world for a free race. So not bad. All right, back on trail. Our aid station over there, the blue tent. We are back on Peavine Trail, the Prescott Valley side of the Peavine. So we're going to be on this for a little bit till it runs into the Iron King Trail. So we basically just made kind of like a loop coming off of the Granite Dells onto Iron King, looped it around that residential area. Now we're heading back. We'll make a right turn onto Iron King and then make another right turn into some more rockier Granite Dells sections. So this is gonna be flat for the next couple of miles. I've actually been moving at a good clip on the fast stuff. I was joking that my only goal for today was to not be DFL, but came into that aid station, they said I was 13th to come in out of about 35 people, so not bad. Definitely happy with that. And yeah, really impressed with this race so far. The course markings have been fantastic. That aid station was had everything we needed and then some. So for a local race with no entry fee, very impressed so far. And of course, you just look around, even on the more non-technical sections, you just can't beat these views out here. I do wish that all those houses weren't there though. They used to not be there, but they just keep building houses everywhere out here, everywhere they can squeeze them in. So that's a bummer, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, onward. Right, we actually went a bit of a different way than I thought we were going. So we made a left turn off the Peavine Trail onto the single track, and we're kind of going longer way around to link back up with the Peavine Trail. So this is going to be flowy, a little bit up and down for a little bit. Nothing super rocky, but very pretty views back here. We've been running these trails with our Tuesday group run pretty often, so I've become kind of familiar with this area. I wasn't previously. There's a grave site back here. It's called the Boblet Cemetery. I don't know if we're gonna cross it, but it's back here in this general area. From what I remember, it was like back in the 1800s, a guy moved his family out here to start a homestead, and like a month after moving, his son, I think he was like 8 or 9 years old, died, and they buried him out here, and they have a really nice memorial set up for him. So like I said, I don't think we're actually crossing where that gravesite is, but it's in this general area, and if you look around, it's not a bad place to be buried. It's really beautiful back here. See a lot of wildlife on our Tuesday runs as well. Cows, deer, coyotes. Haven't seen any javelina back here, but we have javelina all over the place here in Prescott. You can see in front of me, that's the point of rocks, the kind of jagged spires there. So the Peavine Trail runs past that. There's some climbing routes to get up there, which I've never done because I'm not a rock climber by any means, but I still think it'd be cool to get up there someday. But anyway, we're over 12 miles in. Our next aid station is going to be mile 20, back at the Watson Lake picnic area where the start line was. So we're making our way back there, and then after that we've got a couple loops going around Willow Lake and around the Constellation Trail system, and that'll be the last 10 miles or so of the race. So we are working our way through it for sure. It's a beautiful day. It's like 70 degrees, breezy off and on, but no wind right now. Temperature just feels perfect outside. We've got a junction here. Looks like we're making a left turn. Again, I've just been really impressed with the course markings, because there are a lot of trails back here in the Dells that weave in and out of each other. I get turned around just by myself when I'm out here running, so kudos to Brandon and crew for marking this course so well so far, because I've hardly had to even look at my phone for navigation, which is great. This hill up here, we call that Eagle Peak. There are some trails that run up kind of around the base of it and up a little ways. You can scramble your way to the top, and there's some ruins up there too. And I don't know, I'm being kind of rambly. I really love it back here. The Granite Dells are just an amazing place. Such a cool combination of single track, slick rock, scrambly, bouldery, technical, mixed with stuff like this. And I'm gonna keep it rolling because I think straight ahead we actually are gonna be at the Boblet Cemetery. Yeah, this is it. Charles S. Bobbitt, born November 28th, 1893, died July 9th, 1895. Wow, so he was a year and a half, if I'm reading that right. 20 months. Wow, I couldn't imagine. Well, his final resting place, again, beautiful spot. It's kind of cool too. All right, gonna keep moving. Okay, back on Peavine. Have our old train car. There we came out, I think we came out somewhere in there and went down that way. But now we're back on Peavine going towards Watson Lake. This old rail trail, hence the train car. At one point, they ran trains through here all the way down to Phoenix, which is kind of hard to believe if you know the landscape out here with how rocky and mountainy it is. They could run trains down to Phoenix from here, but they did back in the day. Now it's a trail, Peavine Trail. So that's what we're on. We'll be on here for a little bit, and then at some point we're gonna make a right turn, kind of work our way around the Watson Lake loop through the Granite Dells on that side. I run the Watson Lake loop quite a bit. It's one of my most frequented trails here in Prescott, so I'm very familiar with all that. Looks like we're here, and I really love these trails, so that's funny. Not sure who that is, but anyway, here we go. Legs are starting to get a little, I'm talking, starting to get a little heavy, but I just stopped and took a gel. My local Prescott running friends, Holly and Laura, are up ahead, running with them for a little bit. There's so many wow moments in the Granite Dells. It's really amazing having this in our backyard. I mean, you look behind me, and that's just incredible. All these rocks, and you can even see the San Francisco peaks snow-capped between those rocks there. It's like, I oftentimes feel like this place should be like a national park with how amazing it is. But nope, these are just our backyard trails right here in good old Prescott. It's amazing. I feel very fortunate to live here, to be able to have this whenever I want. It's pretty great. We're making our way up this climb, but off to my right, really pretty shot of Watson Lake. On the other side of that lake is where we started this morning and where we'll finish at some point today. And it's beautiful. There's little pockets of quartz tucked into these rocks too, just in random places. It's pretty amazing here. Again, just such a cool, unique place to run and hike, explore. Topped out. So Prescott Valley off this way, that housing development is kind of where we came, where that aid station was. So we've kind of made our way up the east side of the Dells, and Watson Lake in front of me. We will be making our way, Granite Mountain over there, down to Watson Lake, where we will eventually be on the Watson Lake loop trail that I was talking about earlier. We're just hit 15 miles, so about halfway. I'm at 3 hours and 40 minutes. My last mile I just did clocked in at about 21 minutes, so definitely my slowest mile thus far, but that was a pretty good climb to get up here. And again, my legs are feeling a little bit heavy. I'm still, you know, I still feel very much undertrained. If you watched my Zion video recently, didn't really train at all for that. And that was just 2 weeks ago, so I guess by that logic, I'm still not really trained for this, but it's okay. We're out here getting it done, enjoying the day. And it looks like we still got maybe a little bit more climbing to do before we actually top out, but the views up here are absolutely gorgeous. So despite the current state of suffering I'm in, I am very much enjoying myself because of these views. Rolling for a second. We're going that way, but I'm just gonna get a panorama of this. Absolutely amazing. Okay, we're finally back on some more familiar, to me anyway, trails. This is the Watson Lake loop trail, proper trail I should say. So we're basically about to dip down into this canyon. We'll be in a little riparian area down there, where the trail kind of crosses behind the Watson Lake Dam. At that point, we'll climb out the other side of the canyon and finish the loop around Watson Lake back to that mile 28 station. Okay, we are almost at the bottom of Flume Canyon, as it's called. Kind of below the Watson Lake Dam here. This is pretty techy. I've moved a lot more nimbly down this section, but we're 17 and a half miles in. My legs are heavy, so we're just taking it easy. And here we are. We go from the rockiness of all that to now all of a sudden we have green, flowing creek, water. It's just an amazing place here. Again, just so beautiful, so unique. And for all the Cocodona runners out there, this should look familiar because you guys actually come this way and climb up what I just descended. So we're kind of along the same route as Cocodona at the moment, just going in opposite directions. Doesn't sound like the waterfall behind the dam is flowing. The water levels in general are just pretty low right now, but when it is flowing back here, it is gorgeous. There's our little footbridge. There's the dam right there. So they'll pump water out of that to kind of make an artificial waterfall, but nothing at the moment. But just such an amazing little area. Cottonwood trees and all the shrubbery, tall grass, green, lush. And in about 30 seconds, we'll be climbing again back into the rocks. So oh, nope, we're making a right turn. Interesting. I thought we were going left. You can tell I didn't study the map very well. Very much a welcome sight to be on the side of Watson Lake and have it be right there. This is a pretty hard section this has turned into. A lot of technical stuff, a lot of up and down on this rock, but we should be at the aid station in about a mile. We're lucky with the weather being cooler today. I can imagine this race on a hot day would be quite the sufferfest. But got a nice breeze again. Temperatures aren't too hot. It's just this terrain, you know, and I'm a local, so I know this terrain pretty well. It's rough. So don't let the course profile fool you. This is very much a challenging route. But anyway, it's good to be, like I said, on the side of the lake. You can see the dam right there. That's where we were under. We kind of made a loop back that way. And now we are just kind of making our way back to the north end where the start finish line is and where aid station will be. And I'm looking forward to that. Right, mercifully, we are back at the start line where we started this morning. Just traversed through all that epic looking terrain, and this should be where our mile 20 aid station is. I guess we're really just above 19. Guessing this is us over here. Maybe. Maybe not. These don't look like a typical running crowd. I'm not sure what this is actually. We got something set up. We might be down that way. Oh, it's so windy. Well, aid stations around here somewhere. I think I'm gonna call that the crux of the course. That was a hard section. Not a lot of runnable terrain. Just a lot of, like I said, just punchy up and down climbs. Yeah, here's the cheer squad. You know, 9 miles, not a super long section, but that felt like it turned into a bit of a drag by the end. But absolutely beautiful. That middle section with that big climb, just incredible views. Those are my friends Holly and Laura, who I was running with for a little bit, local runners here in Prescott. And this is our aid, so we are going to fill up and restock here. All right.
Good job.
It's a hard section.
Can I be full anything?
What's up, dude? I'm gonna give you a hug now that I'm all sweaty. Hey, Molly.
Hi, Jason.
How are you?
Good
Good to see you.
Glad to see your name on here this morning.
Yeah, this is great. Okay, back on the move. I took a bit of an extended break there, but feel very much refreshed. I'm a proponent of sitting down at aid stations. I know I might be in the minority on that. A lot of people I know will just suffer through a run and never give their feet a break. I don't know. I mean, for me, if I sit down for 5 minutes, you just feel like a different person at the end. After those 5 minutes are up. I mean, I've heard like death by chair and like chair paralysis and all that. But at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself with these things. That's how you get through them. So I took the opportunity there and sat for a little bit. And now I feel good, so. But everyone's different. It's all about finding out what works for you. So now we are gonna cross the street, and this intersection is always crazy, so this should be fun. But we're gonna make our way towards Willow Lake, which is on the other side of Highway 89 here. And then once we're by Willow Lake, we're gonna run around that through more of the Granite Dells. There are going to be a few runnable sections from here to the finish, so it won't be quite as rocky and technical as that last section. That was kind of rough. But having said that, a lot of the trails around Willow Lake are in fact rocky and technical, so it'll be a good mix of both. And I guess the winner they're expecting in like 20 minutes, so that's cool. He's about 10 miles ahead of me. Almost had him. Next year I'll go for the win. But here's where we gotta cross, and yeah, keep plugging away at this thing. We got a runner. Wonder if this is the winner. Great work. Finish strong. Assuming that was a first place male. Didn't recognize him, but still moving at a great clip. We are gonna make a right turn here, it looks like. We are gonna head into the Willow Lake loop. This is normally it's about a 6-mile loop. That's the typical parking area straight ahead. I think we're going counterclockwise around this thing, and we're also going to add kind of a lollipop onto the Constellation trails to add on another 3 miles or so. So I just hit mile 20, and I don't think we're actually doing, this race is a little bit short. So instead of a 50K is typically 31 miles, this one's closer to 29. So we've got the 6-mile loop around Willow, plus that 3-ish mile lollipop. Now, thing with the Willow Lake loop, there's parts of it I actually like better than Watson Lake. The parts where you're actually in the dells are just incredible back here. Incredible views, really techie scrambles, a lot of fun stuff. But the majority of this loop is actually on trails like this. Like 4 miles or so are on kind of this flatter surface, and then 2 miles are kind of like through those dells. So having said that, there is quite a bit of runnable stuff here. And I'm moving at about a 12-minute pace right now. So if we can keep a clip like this going on the runnable stuff, I think we'll be all right. So that's the plan. We're on the back end of this thing, so about another 9 miles or so, we'll be done. Okay, we're kind of back onto the Dells section here of Willow Lake. You can see the dam off in the distance. The water level is so low, holy cow. I've been here when that's overflowing with water before. When it is, it creates this amazing cascading waterfall on the backside. But it hasn't been like that in several years. But man, I can't believe how low that water level is. But anyway, we're back to grinding through the dells. Let's go. So we're kind of behind the dam here at Willow Lake, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I've been back here when that is overflowing with water, and it just creates this amazing series of cascading waterfalls back here in this little canyon. Obviously now it's pretty dry. We have these little pools off and on, but man, when this is flowing back here, it's like maybe the prettiest spot in all of Prescott. But unfortunately hasn't been like that for a few years. I'm gonna save my battery. I'm only at 35% on my GoPro. I didn't bring a second battery here, but I know with my batteries anyway, once they start getting below like 20%, they kind of start acting finicky. So, and I don't want to have this die on me before we're done. So I think I'm gonna film sparingly from here to the finish, but I do want to get some good shots of Willow Lake in there. But yeah, these GoPro batteries just don't ever seem to last very long, but that's okay. Popping out of this little rock tunnel here. This is a cool spot. There's Willow Lake. There's a little red bridge with a view of the sun with the lake. I recommend such a setting sight. Anyone out there gets that reference, drop it in the comments. My opinion of you will go up. Making our way up and over this climb. You can see Willow Lake way off in the distance there. We're climbing up and over this ridge. We're gonna drop down the other side of this into the Constellation trails, do a little loop in there, that lollipop I was talking about earlier. It's just about at the top of the climb. Just wanted to show the view from up here, because it's very pretty. And here's where we kind of dip into the Constellation Trails. So it's cool. I mean, again, Prescott Valley, you can see all the housing developments. I really hate that that's there. That used to not be there. All these houses used to not be here. But, you know, now that all of California is moving here, they got to keep building wherever they can squeeze these houses in. But we have a little short 2-mile loop, roughly. I'm trying to see if you can see where the parking lot is for this trailhead. It's down there-ish. I just saw David Adams. He was coming back as I was going down, so he's got about a 2-mile lead on me, which is fine. He's doing great. He's gonna finish strong. And really hope my GoPro doesn't die. So with that being said, I'm gonna shut it off. We are at a little pet cemetery here. What, 5 or 6 pets or so that are buried. Kind of a cool little spot just off the trail here. All right, so we're just about done with the Granite Dells trails. This trail here is part of the Willow Lake loop if you go that way, but I'm pretty sure we're hanging a right here. So we got a sign. And yeah, so we're going straight this way. So we've got it like maybe a 1/4 mile or so of just little stuff like this. But then we're gonna pop out onto essentially flat single track for the rest of the way. So we're just about to mile 26. And I'm 7.5 hours into this race. So I would say realistically I've got about another hour to go. But man, I'm glad to be essentially done with the Granite Dells, because hey, just take a toll on your feet. I mean, it's just slow going. They're the kind of miles where every step is earned, or every mile is earned, I guess I should say. But either way, it's rough going through there. Some beautiful terrain, great scenery, otherworldly at times, but yeah, it's rough on the feet for sure. So we have another slight mini climb here that'll put us kind of at the boat launch ramp to Willow Lake. But then from that point on, like I said, it's essentially a few miles around the lake, flat single track, and then we're back on that road. We cross Highway 89 at that roundabout, same one I crossed earlier. And then right at the other end of that, or the other side of that, is our finish line. So we are definitely getting there, winding down this adventure. We're making our way around the backside of Willow Lake just to show how low. At one point, all that was underwater. I mean, the lake really extended out to where, and you can see the darker areas. Now it's like all the way back there, and it's a bummer. But I don't know, it's just what it is, I guess. But yeah, I remember just when all that was water, now it's just dry land. So this is essentially gonna be the last few miles of our race. Just making our way on this single track around the lake. Like I said, till we're back on that road, Willow Lake Road actually, or no, Willow Creek Road, I'm sorry. So I'm at 26.37, another 3.5, maybe 4 miles, we'll be done. All right, we're winding down here, 28.66, so another mile or so. Just enjoying the view on this side of Willow Lake. You can see where the rocks are darker. That's where the water level used to be at. And it's just, again, sad that it's so low, but hopefully it'll rise back. I've been trying to make a decent push. There's someone behind me, but I think I've put enough distance to where I'll be all right. But just wanted to show that view. We're on the home stretch. Gonna hammer this out and be done. All right, we are approaching the finish line. Nothing like an uphill finish. I see my wife and daughter up ahead. Julia! Hi, baby. I'm gonna trade you camera for baby. Hi, kiddo. What'd you get? I'm gonna run in with her.
Okay.
Oh, just follow me. Oh, that was hard. Hi, kiddo.
She likes the aid station food.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
She tried watermelon.
It's a good
Had
sign of
apples.
things to come.
And pretzels.
Mmm. Aid station food's great, isn't it, kiddo? That's really hard.
You said that.
These trails are not easy. How long are you guys waiting here?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
All right, Julia. We're gonna cross the finish line.
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
Go, go, go.
You wanna run in?
It'll get better. Yeah, like try to get Jeff out of there.
Great. Glad you enjoyed it. It's nice and fun. And, you know, the finish line with the kid is always awesome.
Yeah. What's up, Jeff?
Good day out there, wasn't it?
How'd you do?
Came in with Rachel. I said I gave it a 7:05.
Nice.
Yeah, then
Solid.
Yeah.
Julia, you want to wave to the camera? You want to say anything? You want to show your mouth full of food? Can you say dada?
Dada.
Good job. All right.